Okay, so let's go back to this voice idea again. So we know now that the voices we have, we didn't create them consciously, and we certainly didn't necessarily want them, but we do want to please our parents. And when we're little kids, we're all unconscious. And what does the unconscious mind want to do? It wants to please. It's, like I said before in a joke, it's a whore for feedback. And who does it want to please? It pleases the parents. So it takes the behaviors the parents have modeled and internalizes them, and all of a sudden this voice starts running our life. But the voice is changeable. You built it, you can change it. Okay? So first and foremost, let's close our eyes and notice there's a place in our body where that voice, the feelings connected to that voice, the mechanism that runs that voice is located. I want you to go ahead and point to where that is. I want you to grab it, and just for fun, take it out and hold it in your hands. Listen to it, make sure it's the right voice. Now move it to the exact opposite side of your body. Put it in. What happened? It's what? How? It's in stereo. There's always one. What just happened for the most of you? What happened, Nona?
It became silent.
Silent?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Remember that proprioceptive grid around you? Everything has meaning. Right? So I just wanted to give you that experience right there. Everything about you is changeable. The only variable is time. The only variable is time. But we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go a little bit beyond that whole idea. Okay? If there was, since your autonomic nervous system is the part of you that created that voice anyway, and it knew exactly how it did it. True or not true?
Yeah, true.
Right? Now, if there's a feeling, or that voice you used to have, the one we just moved, if it's in stereo, just do it twice. All right? If there's a color connected to that voice, what color would that be, first impression? Now, if your autonomic nervous system, your higher self, whatever God, the universe, or whatever powers that be within your life are most powerful for you, knew exactly when you created it, how you created it, what mechanisms were involved, and could send you a color, a feeling, a vibration, an energy that would completely dissolve the mechanism behind that voice and allow space for something better, what color would your system send you? And imagine a big ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and changes with every breath you take, and every beat of your heart. That big ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of empowerment, of release, of relief. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all negative voices, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything you most want and everything you most need in an infinite, ever-expanding, and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe that magical color through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. Not even you. And as you do that, make sure you take an extra blast of supercharged energy and flow it through that area where that voice used to be. And notice what happens. That's right. Now imagine you could float up out of your body and move back in time, back to the womb, back to before your very first memory. Maybe to that moment when you were just a cell, getting ready to embark on a great adventure. And what if you could just imagine flowing into that one self with all of the knowledge and all of the wisdom, all the understandings that you've created? Merge into that cell and teach that little cell everything it's ever going to need to know, everything it's ever going to need to feel, to believe, to experience, to understand, to know what you know intuitively as that cell multiplies. Feel, breathe the colors that you've acquired on your journey in this life through that little baby cell, and notice what happens. But especially the one that connected to that voice. An energy that inoculates, immunizes, strengthens you, gives you the understanding you didn't have in that other life. And when you know you've got that, go on a little journey. Feel the transformations in your body amplify and multiply as one little baby cell becomes two little baby cells. And those two little baby cells double the force and the power and the energy and the understanding and the strength and the ability to choose what to take in, what to listen to, and what to discard and ignore. 2 cells become 4. 4 cells become 8. 8 cells become 16. Feel it growing. Feel the form of you coming into being as 8 cells become 16. 16 become 32. 32 becomes 64. Multiplying, amplifying, building up that reservoir, that stockpile, that unimaginable infinite ability to choose, to change, to understand differently now. And you may notice a new voice, a better voice, starting to grow. A voice of absolute trust. A voice that loves you. A voice that wants only the very best things for you. A voice of strength, of comfort, of protection, of wisdom, of understanding. A voice that gives really good advice. And you may begin to notice as those cells begin to multiply and grow, a sense of wherever you go, whatever you do, this voice, a voice of love, will always be with you. Reminding you, telling you, teaching you things, telling you the best perspectives to take on any situation or circumstance that you encounter as those cells continue to multiply. Listen to that voice. And you know, when I was growing up, I had one of those other voices, and it took a special person to teach me, to mentor me, to show me things that were really true. A mentor who gave me the best advice with no agenda other than love, to help me become the very best version of myself that I could be. And after going through certain processes, certain understandings, certain experiences, I now have a voice like that. A voice of absolute trust, of peace, of protection. And you may notice, as those cells and the power within them begins to multiply, that voice may start to pull in aspects of other voices you've encountered in your life. Voices of people who took a real interest in you, took the time to mentor you, to guide you, to love you unconditionally, to teach you and show you things that were really, really true. And I want you to become aware, I'd like you to become aware if you can, of how the quality and the richness of that voice grows. Reminding you, as those cells continue to multiply, several important pieces that you must always be aware of. That no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what life hands you, no matter who comes into your life or who goes out. As people do good things, and sometimes not so good things, this voice will remind you, keep you safe, teach you the best perspectives about things, remind you of all the very best things about you, in a voice that you can always trust, a voice that you can always believe, a voice that speaks 10 times louder than any other voice, that drowns out every other voice. So that for as long as your little heart continues to beat and your little lungs continue to breathe, this voice will go with you, reminding you that you're always loved, protected, accepted, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined, and you're never, ever, ever alone. And when you take a moment or two in this growing space to listen, to understand, to let this new voice take root deep inside, in every cell, like a little speaker, reminding you, I'm here. You got this. You're always good enough. Just take a moment as those cells within you begin to multiply and grow and empower, feeding you, telling you all the things you most need to hear, that you needed to hear in those critical moments that would have made all the difference. And grow. Hundreds of cells becoming thousands of cells becoming tens of thousands, and this voice growing louder and stronger within you, reminding you over and over again, you're always good enough. People will do good things in your life, and sometimes people will not do some things in your life that you like. People will come into your life, people will go out. But no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what life hands you, that voice says, I will always be here for you, to hold your hand when there's nobody else to hold your hand, to give you that hug you need when you need it the most, to remind you of all the very best things about you, in a voice that you can always trust, a voice that you can always believe, a voice that speaks 10 times louder than any other voice, that drowns out every other voice. So that for as long as your heart continues to beat and your lungs continue to breathe, when you stop and listen inside, you'll hear this voice telling you all those important things, the best perspectives to take, how to approach it. Saying, oh, avoid that. Go do that. Go for it. You deserve it. You own this. You're always good enough. So take another few moments and listen more fully to that voice while I remain quiet for a while. And receive the messages that this new voice, your voice, has to share. Let it take root in the place where that old voice tried to be. Feel it take root. Feel it grow. Maybe it moves into your heart and it begins to radiate throughout your entire being. But if you really listen, you'll notice it doesn't just come from that one place, because it's in every part of you, reminding you, teaching you, keeping you safe, and inspiring you for all the right reasons. Reminding you, you got this. That you're always loved. You're always protected. Accepted. Forgiven. For all wrongs, real or imagined. That you're always good enough. And you're never, ever, ever alone. That's right. And I'd like you to notice when you listen to that voice and you hear it and you feel it vibrating and resonating inside of you, that there's a place in your body where that feeling is the strongest, where it grows, and where it spreads from. Point to where you feel that. And notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to that amazing experience. Breathe that color through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it so fully and so completely no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. Not even you. And when you realize it's true, test it. Try to bring back that other voice. And notice what happens instead. That's right. And at some point in that amazing growth period where all of those cells are multiplying, amplifying, and you become fully formed within that voice, at some point comes the moment where it's time to enter a brave new world, in that moment of birth. And you pass through that opening, bringing all of this with you. Through that first day, and the voice is there, comforting you, explaining to you, helping you to understand and see the world properly. In day 2, the voice grows stronger, more soothing, more comforting, more empowering, more liberating, because you realize you're on an adventure. And wherever you go, and whatever you do, this voice will go with you. Through day 3 and 4 and 5, only growing stronger, and 6 and 7. And then a week goes by, 2 weeks, and the feeling gets stronger. The voice grows louder. A month. 1 month becomes 2. 2 months become 4. 4 months become 8. And then a year. 1 year becomes 2, picking up speed, but every moment of every day, this voice teaches you, explains things to you. Notice how as you move through the years of your life with this voice guiding you, telling you what to do, telling you what's coming and how to get it and make it better. Year 2 and 3 and 4, and maybe every now and then with this voice by your side, inside and out, listening and teaching you. You stop, you turn around, you look back, and you look at the amazing life you've led. Because this voice was there for you, to guide you and love you 1,000%, to teach you all the things you needed to know in that moment, to hold your hand or give you that hug, to remind you of all the very best things about you, reminding you that you're always good enough. You're never alone. Allow yourself to move through the years of your life as rapidly and as fully as comfortable with this voice guiding you, teaching you, inspiring, motivating you, protecting you when necessary, inspiring you always. And listen. And listen. And listen again. Because no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter who comes into your life and who leaves, no matter what good things people do and the not so good things they do, this voice will stay with you, reminding you of all the very best things about you, in a voice that you can always trust, a voice that you can always believe, a voice that speaks 10 times louder than any other voice. That you're always good enough. You're always loved, accepted, protected, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined. And you're never, ever, ever alone. Move forward through life with this voice at the rate and speed that's comfortable for you. And when you get to the present moment, back here to the room, bringing that voice with you, impossible to turn off, drowning out every other voice, you just nod your head to let me know. And we'll continue with the next part of our process. Wonderful. Naturally, as a group, everybody moves at their own rate and speed, and that's perfectly fine. Because as long as your neurology can hear my voice, you can follow along. And just for fun, once you reach this present moment, imagine you could move forward 7 more days into the future. 7 days from March 6, 2020, with this voice inside of you, teaching you, advising you, reorganizing everything about the way you see yourself, the world, and everyone in it for all the right reasons. And when you get to that 7-day mark, take a look around. Notice what that's like. Notice what you've become, how you've changed. And notice there's a place in your body where that new use and the resources that have allowed you to become that person are stored, where they grow and where they spread from. Point to where you feel it. And there's a color, maybe a series of colors, connected to those amazing qualities and characteristics and attributes. What color is it for you? Breathe it through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in, my friends, so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. Not even you. When you realize it's true, test it. Try to go back to that old way of being. And notice what happens instead. That's right. When you know you've got that, take all of those amazing powers and colors connected to them. Move forward through time, 30 more days. A complete 1 month and 7 days from March 6th, 2020. Flow into that future you. See the world through those eyes. Hear the world through those ears. Smell and taste and feel the world through that mind, body, and soul alive with those transformations. And listen. Listen to the voice that's talking to you. Guiding you. Making you even better. In a wonderful way. An empowering way. A way that allows you to be the very best version of the you you want to be. Reminding you that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what life hands you, you're always good enough. That you are always loved, protected, accepted, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined. And you're never, ever, ever alone. When you reach that 37-day mark, live a few weeks in that life. Live a couple of weeks in that life. And notice what that's like. And notice that there's a place in your body where the attributes and the qualities and the understandings that allowed you to manifest this amazing new reality for yourself are stored, where they grow and where they spread from. Point to where you feel that. And notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings, qualities, and characteristics. Breathe those colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely. No force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. Not even you. When you recognize the truth that it's there forever, test it. Try to make it go away. Try to make somebody else make it go away. And notice what happens instead. That's right. One more time, float up, take all of those qualities, characteristics, and colors with you. Float 6 more months into the future. A complete 7 months and 7 days from March 6th, 2020. Flow into that best version of you 7 months and 7 days from today. See the world through those eyes. Hear the world through those ears. Smell and taste and feel the world through a mind, body, and soul alive with transformation, vibrating, resonating with the power of this voice. Billions upon billions of the same voice telling you the same thing. You got this. You are always good enough. You are always loved, accepted, protected, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined. And you're never, ever, ever alone. Let the truth of those words and the love and the certainty within it reach the very deepest, most subtle levels, most powerful levels of your being. Let it take root like the seeds of a giant sequoia or redwood tree. And feel it grow within you. Feel that truth becoming the truth, your truth. Impervious to anything to the contrary. You're always loved. You're always good enough. If you could turn around and look back at the youngest versions of yourself from that perspective, as you look back on those younger versions of you, on this amazing journey, what do you know now those younger versions didn't know? What wisdom have you gained? And if you could reach back through the wormhole of time and space, teach all those younger yous everything they would ever need to know, to feel, to believe, to experience, to understand, to be as amazing in their time, or better, as you are. 7 months and 7 days from March 6th, 2020. And when you know what that would be, open your arms big and wide and beckon all those younger yous to fly forward through the wormhole of time and space into your waiting arms. Hold them to your heart, and in that voice, whisper in their ear everything they're ever going to need to know, to feel, to believe, to experience, to understand, to be as amazing and unstoppable in their time as you are. 7 months and 7 days from March 6, 2020. And let the truth of those words reach the very deepest, most important levels of their minds and bodies and souls. And through it all, the truth rings out that you're always loved. You're always good enough. You're protected, accepted, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined. And you're never, ever, ever alone. And feel all of them begin to shrink down and flow into your heart, where they're surrounded forever by the source of that voice. A voice of absolute trust, of peace, of understanding, of wisdom, of absolute acceptance, forgiveness. Teaching them, reminding them every moment of every day of their existence that they're always loved and accepted, protected, forgiven for all wrongs, real or imagined. And you're never, ever, ever alone. And just listen. Listen to this voice. In a moment. Not yet, but in just a moment. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the number 5, you can emerge from this process like a phoenix rising from the ashes, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. One phase of your transformation complete. The next phase, the best phase, just beginning. Ready to spread your wings, take to the air, to soar amongst the clouds and experience life, the universe, and everything in it from a much higher place. A more enlightened perspective. Head clear, mind clear, heart clear, soul clear. And through it all, this voice will go with you, doing what it's always done from the time you were conceived, reminding you of all the very best things about you, in a voice that you can always trust, a voice that you can always believe, a voice that speaks 10 times louder than any other voice, that drowns out every other voice. So that for as long as your lungs continue to breathe and your heart continues to beat, every time you look inside and you listen, you'll hear this voice speaking exactly what you need to hear, reminding you of all those amazing things. Number 2, all of my suggestions and directions from me to you and from you to your very own other than conscious mind, to every cell of your being, are now 10 times stronger, 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more thrilling and fulfilling and satisfying than ever before. Embraced, held, locked into that part of your mind, body, and soul that most wants, desires, can implement, facilitate, embody, personify, and express these changes in all the ways that give you the life that you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Number 3, because there's always at least 3 ways to overcome any situation, obstacle, or circumstance that you may face. There's always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve, and you're all powerful other than conscious mind, and this voice will give you those solutions in the easiest, quickest, most effective way for the good of yourself and all concerned. Number 4, because it's all for you, my friends. You've made the investment. You've made the journey. You've followed the instructions. You've obeyed the commands. You've most certainly tested the results. You've earned the rewards and the right to keep them. It's your reality, it's your truth, it's your life, and you get to live it to the fullest, starting now. On the next count, you can emerge from this process bringing this voice with you, a voice that will stay with you for as long as your heart continues to beat and your lungs continue to breathe, that each night while you sleep and while you dream, this voice will change your mind, change your brain, connecting parts of your brain to unlock new skills, new abilities, new understandings, new perspectives, to accelerate the speed at which you learn, and to allow you the power of loving yourself unconditionally no matter what. This voice will go with you. And each morning upon awakening, you'll see the world through new eyes. You'll hear the world through brand new ears. Experience the world through a mind and body and spirit alive with transformations, and through it all, this voice will stay with you, guiding you, teaching you, inspiring you, reminding you of all the very best things about you, in a voice that you can always trust, a voice that you can always believe, a voice that speaks 10 times louder than any other voice, that drowns out every other voice, allowing you to feel good all over, glad to be alive, ready to thrive. Number 5, take your time. Come on back. Notice how good you feel. Ten-minute break.